Welcome to 1 Hour Top Show. Our guests today are Rhett Gutierrez and his parents, Rick and Cindy. Rhett is living with a retinal disease, but he has not let this obstacle stand in his way. In fact, he's a quarterback on his high school varsity team, a 4.3 GPA student, to name a few. He and his parents will join us soon to talk about their journey. Stay tuned.
CCTV studio, welcome to the 1 Hour with Hope show.
Thank you, Rhett Gutierrez, for being on 1 Hour with Hope show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Where are you talking to us from?
I'm talking from my living room in Westminster, Colorado.
Okay, and where do you go to school and what grade are you?
I'm a junior at Stanley Lake High School right now.
All right. Tell us about what happened to your vision and when did you start noticing that something was wrong?
Well, I think about fourth grade, my teacher started noticing that I couldn't quite read the whiteboard anymore. I was putting books closer to my face to read them and couldn't read things on the computer screen quite as well. So they started, asking my parents if I was doing the same thing at home, and that's when we started going to see different doctors and seeing what we could find.
Okay, and how did you find football, or how did football find you?
Well, we've been football fans forever, and I've played it since I was little. That's what I've always done, and so I don't know. I started out flag football and pee wee leagues, and just kept going until now.
Okay, and how did the idea come about for you to want to be a quarterback on your team?
Well, I played quarterback before anything happened with my vision, so I mean, I didn't know I didn't know anything else besides playing quarterback. So I figured when my vision was going down, I'd still play because I knew about how to do everything I needed to do. And
you were a starter for the junior varsity team last year, right?
Yes, sir.
And how many games did you guys play, and how many games did you guys win?
We won 3 out of 10, so we didn't have the best season record-wise, but I think there were a lot of games we played really well in.
What happened in those 7 games that you guys lost?
A couple teams were just way better.
A
couple games we made some stupid mistakes in the later part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Okay. And what has been the highlight of your young career so far?
Oh, I don't know. I threw a couple touchdowns in big games last year. We had a rivalry game during homecoming weekend. I threw a 40-yard pass. It wasn't a touchdown, but we had a scoring drive against a really good rival. That got me pumped up. We lost the game, but it was a fun game to play in. I played in one varsity game this year at Grand Junction, and they're the #1 team in the state. So that was just really exciting for me to play in that.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhett, for sharing your story with our viewers today. What adjustment have you had to make since your eyesight began to deteriorate? How has it impacted your education?
Well, I've had to ask people a lot more for help than I would have before, would like to now. But
yeah,
I think, my teachers all enlarged all my assignments, and there's something on the overhead projector. They print it out ahead of time and give it to me so I can look at it. But, it hasn't really impacted my schooling that much. I'm still doing good in school, still working hard, and still getting good grades. So I don't think it's really been detrimental to my education at all.
And how do you study?
Well, I listen a lot, especially in class. If my teacher gives a lecture, I have to know everything they said, because if they write something on the board, I just got to hope they said it first, because then it sticks. And I listen to things my friends say. You know, I get study groups. I just had a study group here about 20 minutes ago leave. So that's my best way of, you know, learning things for me.
Okay, and we read that you have a 4.3 GPA, right?
Yep, 4.3 so far.
What are the classes that you are taking right now, and are you taking any high level class right now?
Well, I'm in the International Baccalaureate program, which is set around having a schedule that's all upper level classes, AP and above. They have the IB classes are separate from the AP classes, but they're all critical thinking and just they're hard classes, but and I have 6 of those every day.
And what schools are you considering right now, and why?
Number 1 on the list is Stanford University.
Okay.
It's very prestigious. Would love to be in it's a big campus environment, which I think sounds very appealing. You know, it's far enough away from home where I could get some independence, you know, start living life.
Away from your parents.
Yeah, my parents want me to stay pretty close, so yeah. Denver University is number 2 on this.
Okay.
That's just 40 miles up the road, I think.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Rhett. You said in Denver Post, and I quote, "If you get a retinal disease, it stings, but it could be way worse." So yep, what are some challenges for you in living with this disease?
Well, I think the only thing that's really held me back is getting my driver's license. I haven't been able to do that yet.
Okay.
And I think that's been the toughest part, because I told myself from the beginning, you know, the only limitations I have are the ones I put on myself. So really nothing's held me back. But this driver license, they test you, and I can't quite pass the test yet, the vision test.
And are you learning Braille? Do you know about Braille?
I can't read Braille, but I'm not to that point yet.
Okay, but
and I don't think we will be yet ever, which is I'm glad.
Okay, okay.
I'm really lucky for that.
Okay, you were voted. You were unanimously voted as a team captain on Stanley Lake's football team. You know, how did that come about?
Well, JV, I was more or less named team captain by my coach. But I received 15 votes for the varsity team captain, which that was just, I felt really loved and respected by my teammates who would, you know, feel I deserved a position like that. You know, I just felt so honored, I guess, that my friends, my peers think that highly of me.
And what did you have to do to make the varsity team this year, even as a quarterback too?
I just think I worked hard. All summer we had off-season workouts, and I went to every one of those. Anything after school workouts, I went to all of those and showed up every day to practice, worked hard every day in practice. I think I was enough of a vocal presence and a leader that, you know, Coach wanted me to, if not play in the games, be on the sidelines to cheer everyone on and get everyone pumped up or whatever that took. So I don't know that my play had so much to do with it, but I just think I was a voice he wanted on the sidelines.
All right. And what was the story about the game you played this year? You know, what was the story about that? Could you tell our viewers, please?
Yeah, that was the Grand Junction game I mentioned earlier. We went down to Grand Junction. They're a really good football team. They #1 in the state. They were just beating everyone by 50 points, and it was a big deal. And they had everyone in the stands. It was night games, just like classic high school football environment. It started raining, so the field it was just awesome to be there. But we were getting beat down pretty good because they were that good. And they were a class above us.
Yeah.
So it got to be about the fourth quarter, and we started pulling starters. And my coach had told me he didn't think I would get in, just in the circumstances. But he put me in for the last drive and let me play, which was awesome.
All right. And how do you read the defenses and execute your offense too?
Well, before the play, I look at where all defense players are, and I know where our play is supposed to go and what we're supposed to be doing on that play. If we're running a pass play, I know where all the receivers are going. If we're running a run play, I know where the blocks are going and where the running back has to go. And based off of just that alone, I can tell if our play is going to work or if I need to change it at the line, which luckily this year we didn't have to do too much of. But I just have to know everything about where my players are. If we're running a pass, I need to know exactly what route everybody's running and where they're making cuts and where I need to be throwing the ball and where the defense is going to be when my receivers are at that cut.
And were you ever nervous?
No, I don't. I think I was more nervous for the varsity game.
Okay.
Every varsity game I played, I was suited up for. I got nervous.
And why?
That's a big time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Are you following NFL right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of a nut. I play fantasy football and all that.
What's your favorite team?
Love the Saints, love the Colts, even though the Colts are having a rough year, and I love the Broncos. I'm a hometown guy. I love the Broncos.
And who do you think will win it out this year?
Well, still feel good about the Saints. And not sold on Tebow yet, so.
Many who hear about your story refer to you as their role model. Do you have any role model out there, Rhett?
I think, my parents are role models. My grandpa on my mom's side, he was a huge role model to me. I just have a lot of really good influences on my life. A lot of people just said, I think my grandpa said it. You're gonna eat what you get served, so you better enjoy it while you got it, or something like that. I don't know if that's right, but
yeah, he's gonna correct you later. Don't worry, after the show. Yeah, okay. What do you like to do, when you're not playing football and also you are not participating in the, in fantasy football too?
I have a really good social life. I have a lot of great friends that
Okay.
I can hang out with, whatever. So that's number one. If I can hang out with my friends, I'd do that. Or
Do you have any other talents?
I don't know about talents, but I don't have I can't juggle or anything.
You can't dance? You're the quarterback and they say, how they call all those Mississippi 1, Mississippi 2, and they dance up and down. You can't do that one?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhett. What would you like to do when you grow up? We haven't talked about that.
Oh, I'd love to be a football coach. That's been my dream. I want to, especially if I college football coach, I think that'd be awesome, just some way to stay in football and spread the game to other people who just genuinely want to play the game. I think pro football would be fun, but they're doing it for a paycheck. In college football, it's all for the love of the game.
Yeah.
I want to spread that with other people.
So you think you're gonna study anything that is related to sports management, something like that?
I think I will.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't ruled out law school or anything. Go and get my master's in education or anything like that. I haven't ruled any of that out, but definitely a football coach should be the best.
Okay. And the season's over now, right?
Yeah, the season's over.
And you're going back for your senior year, right?
Yeah.
So what do you have to work on this off season?
I have to get faster, I have to get bigger, and I have to get stronger. That's pretty much the case every year. Is get faster, stronger, and just then the football comes in after that.
Okay. And I'm sure you're not the only one, living with this disease right now. So
yeah,
what kind of advice do you have for some of the people there living with this disease and now you are thriving? It's not really, you are finding a way to get ahead. What kind of advice do you have for people watching this interview?
I would just say the only limitations you have are the ones you put on yourself. And I think that's been my motto through all this. You know, so if you can't, you can get to any goal you have as long as you try and you work at it. I think I've been proof of that. There's nothing holding you back except yourself. You just gotta go for it. You know what? If everyone's got something they got to deal with, so
All right.
we all function. We all got to make it work.
All right. Thank you so much. And who has been your biggest support so far?
Well, biggest support comes from my family for sure. My parents work hard in the Foundation Fighting Blindness, and they're active members. My sister will tell me if there's a good-looking girl walking across the street.
Okay.
She's got my back, and my dad will nudge me the same way. My mom will read me scores at the bottom of ESPN.
Yeah.
Just so I can see it, and they'll tell me, you know, what things say. If we're watching a movie with subtitles, they'll read them to me, and
Yeah.
if I have help, if I need to ask someone to read something, you know, I can ask any one of these guys.
Yeah.
My friends are awesome with it too.
Okay.
I just have a lot of people around me who have my back.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhett Gutierrez, for giving us this opportunity to be able to, you know, share your story and also talk with you. We really appreciate this. Okay.
I appreciate having me.
All right. Thank you for watching 1 Hour with Hope Show. I'm sure we've learned a lot about Rhett Gutierrez and his journey. And right now we're going to be talking with Rhett's parents, Cindy and Rick. Thank you so much, Rick and Cindy Gutierrez, for being on our show today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you. Could you tell our viewers what happened when you took Rhett to see the doctor about his eye?
Yeah, so when Rhett was in about 3rd grade, we noticed him leaning in closer to the computer screen. He was holding magazines and books that he would read closer to his face, and we could tell that there was something not right about the way that he was reading, and his vision was decreasing. So we took him to a regular ophthalmologist and had his eyes checked, and they had a difficult time correcting his vision. So we went to another doctor and then another doctor, and eventually, after about 18 months of going to different doctors, visiting even the Mayo Clinic, he was diagnosed with what's called Stargardt's disease. It's a juvenile form of macular degeneration. And it affects about 1 in 10,000 kids in the United States. It affects the central vision of the retina. And normally, what normally happens is that the young kids between the ages of 6 and 15, they have pretty normal sight, like Rhett did, and then their vision decreases to a certain point, plateaus, or just stops decreasing before they go completely blind. And that's pretty textbook for Stargardt's, and that's what has happened with Rhett.
Okay, and Cindy, what were the early fears that you guys had?
Well, during the diagnosis part, the fears were that he was going to completely lose his vision. Some of the things he was being tested for were, you know, really scary. So when Rhett talks about having a retina disease, stinks, but it could be worse, we were looking at some of those worst case scenarios. And so Stargardt's disease, because the vision does plateau and tends to stay there, at least that's our hope and our belief right now. So it could have been worse, and that was our big fear.
Okay, and is it treatable?
No, not currently. Although there are some exciting advances being made in research, and so we have high hopes that there will be a treatment or a cure. You know, we used to say within Rhett's lifetime, but now we're saying, you know, within the next handful of years, we think something could be done.
Okay. And Rick, just before we let Rhett go, we asked him about what he had to do in terms of adjustment. So what adjustment you guys had to make to accommodate Rhett's needs?
Well, that's a pretty good question, Hope. Rhett is pretty good at advocating for himself. In school, he lets the teachers know if there's a document that they hand out that needs to be enlarged. And he's learning to advocate for himself more and more and not be shy about asking for help, although he's pretty independent. Here at home, we help him when he needs it, with reading small print on the television when we're watching a football game or a basketball game from across the room. We might read him the scores across the bottom of the television. But other than that, he's quite an independent young man, so he doesn't require too much accommodation here at home. Mostly the accommodations that we work towards are with his education in his school.
Yeah.
So he uses a laptop with some enhancements for increasing the font size. We're looking to purchase an iPad which has some accessibility programs that he could utilize in the classroom to take notes. He's actively engaged in the Foundation Fighting Blindness, and they're always providing opportunities and ideas and suggestions on living with low vision, which is what Rhett has. And so we get some great ideas from there as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cindy and Rick. Nell Devlin wrote a story in Denver Post about Rhett, and he stated his story as, and I quote, "His aspirations are clear, even if his vision isn't." So how will you guys put this into perspective for our viewers?
Well, we could talk all day about Rhett.
Yeah.
There's
that's why we are here, right?
great.
So yeah.
He doesn't let anything slow him down. The article that was written by Neil Devlin was as a result of a recommendation that his coach made, because Rhett's such a positive influence in the locker room, positive influence on the field. He recommended him for an award, and he was interviewed for the newspaper. Well, I don't think he won that award specifically, but in the weeks since the article ran in the Denver Post, his story has spread to multiple news outlets across not just the country but the world. And Rhett has received emails, posts, comments from people who are thanking him for his hard work, his inspiration, and he's been able to communicate and encourage other people who are faced with adversity, and they see him as an example. They see him as a role model, and that probably has been one of the greatest benefits. And for us, that Rhett doesn't give up, and that he's willing to share his story. He's still a 17-year-old kid, going through the same things that all of 17-year-old teenagers go through.
Yes.
But Rhett's willing to put himself out there and tell people about his story in hopes that he'll be that inspiration, give someone confidence to carry on. And we've seen it over and over again since that newspaper ran, or newspaper article ran in the paper.
Okay.
And Rhett's had a great opportunity to communicate with a lot of people.
All right, thank you. And as proud parents, and did you ever ask why me, why Rhett, why our family?
Yes. And the search for finding out what was going on with his vision was such a long pursuit to a diagnosis. And when we finally got it, I really had planned a pity party for myself because I was so really distraught, because I knew it was going to change things in our lives. And the minute we got out to the car after leaving the doctor's office, after just getting the diagnosis, Rhett said, because he was a 3-sport athlete at that time. He played football, basketball, and baseball, and he was a catcher in baseball. And he said, Mom, I think I'm going to be finished with baseball because that ball is really small. So I think I'll stick with football and basketball. And I so appreciated his positive outlook that I decided that the pity party was going to have to be canceled because nobody was coming. And we all chose to just look at the positive side. And that was looking at all the things he can do, and he can do a lot. So so the why me stage lasted for about 30 seconds. And after that, it's just been looking at all the things that we can do.
All right, thank you. And prior to the interview, you said, and I quote, Rhett is of the opinion that if his story is told and helps one person overcome some adversity, or if he can inspire a young person to reach for and obtain his or her goals, then he's always willing to explain his story and how he has chosen to deal with and overcome his obstacles. So how have you been able to help Rhett to be so positive, or to stay so positive?
Well, I guess I'm hesitant to take credit for it, Hope. And Cindy and I, we have two great children. Rhett's sister is a great support for him as well.
Yeah.
But I think our parents were positive and great role models for us.
Yeah.
And we've just tried to, follow their example and do the best that we can by our kids. And apparently it's working.
Yeah.
They're both outstanding students in school and involved in the community, and just great influences and great people to be around.
And Rick, what advice will you give to other parents facing similar situations? And Rick, just as I told Rhett also about how he's really taking advantage of everything, and set goals for himself, and he's accomplishing all his goals. And what kind of advice do you have for parents out there?
Well, I'll tell you, I hope one of the very first things that Cindy did was she started doing some research when Rhett was diagnosed, and we have found the Foundation Fighting Blindness, and that organization raises millions of dollars every year for research that will hopefully and inevitably cure not just the Stargardt's disease and the blindness or the vision deficiency that Rhett has, but a whole host of vision deficiencies. So we believe strongly that everybody who's afflicted or has a vision deficiency should get involved and be part of the solution, rather than, like Cindy said, have a pity party.
Yeah.
We go out and raise money and get involved and raise awareness and hopefully provide opportunities for other people with low vision to get involved also. So the best advice that I could give to other parents is to educate yourself and get involved in the community, especially the Foundation Fighting Blindness. There we have chapters across the country, and we raise millions of dollars for research. It's a great organization.
And it's a great support system.
Okay.
Because it's a way to share information back and forth. This worked for us, thought you might want to try it, that sort of thing. And that's been really great for our family.
All right. Thank you so much, Rick and Cindy, for this great opportunity to be able to speak with you about Rhett's life and his future, and your support too. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this.
Thank you for the opportunity. He's one of our two favorite subjects, so we're always happy to talk about him.
All right. Thank you for watching One Hour with Hope Show. I'm sure we've learned a lot about Gutierrez family. Until next time, please don't give up hope.